Hey everybody, Gina DeLuca here again. So, the last video I tested the golden fluid acrylics using the GAC800 and was not thrilled with the results. I did a ring pour, which is kind of my control test when I'm using a new paint or a new pouring medium, because I want to see if it maintains its color separation. I want to see how it looks when it comes down the sides. Does it hold the rings? GAC800 did not hold the rings. In fact, even the edges weren't completely covered. It was almost the same effect when I do a straight pour. When I get the cells without silicone, the paint is very, very thin. And I don't recommend that technique for a deep edge canvas if you are looking for that kind of coverage. You could just paint the edges a solid color beforehand so that there is some color there. But that being said, you know, if you have issues with crazing, that's really what that is made for. So, you know, I see a lot of other artists maybe they're using PVA with a little of the GAC800. That might be a more appropriate use for it. Definitely wouldn't recommend it for a ring pour. I wound up scraping the canvas. It was this canvas. I haven't scraped the canvas in ages, but I knew that that was going to be unsalvageable. So what I have here are the paints, the primary yellow, the primary cyan, and the quinacridone magenta mixed with Floetrol. Because now I'm just testing the paint and I want to see how this paint does on its own. So this is straight Floetrol. I have added no water because this is such a fluid acrylic. I don't need to add water because it's not thicker than the Floetrol. So this is a more standard consistency, the warm honey. I've added about 20 drops of paint. These are 3-ounce cups. So it does not take a lot of paint. That is one of the benefits of using very highly pigmented paints, which of course cost more because pigments are expensive. So the more expensive the paint, the more likely it is that they're using more pigments, which is, you know, the cost goes down to the customer. And however, you wind up using a lot less of it. So I've crunched the numbers before, and it was more economical to buy the lower quality artist's paint, like Artist Loft or even the Deco Art in the tubes, than it is to buy craft paint, because you're paying for a lot of water with those craft paints. Add your own water. Water's cheap. Almost free. Alright, so I'm going to do another ring pour just because I want to see how this paint reacts with the Floetrol. Floetrol is probably going to give me cells. If I get cells, it's probably from the Floetrol and not the paint. That is just the nature of things. And I'll tell you, when I'm using Floetrol as my pouring medium, I can just keep reusing my gloves. But Some of the other pouring mediums are, it's like getting varnish on your gloves, and you use them once and they're done. It also comes off your hands a lot easier. Okay, so I'm going to lay down a base coat. This is just white, titanium white, and Floetrol. The base coat helps your paint slide around on your canvas. Gives you more even coverage, helps you maintain your composition, because the bottom layer of your paint that you pour will stick to the canvas, and then the paint that's on top of that will slide over top of the paint that is stuck to the canvas. And what happens is it messes your composition up. And I'm very much about composition. It's probably why I prefer working on bigger canvases, because I have better control of the composition. But when we're conducting tests and experiments, I kind of don't want to waste a big canvas if it doesn't work out. Seems like easy math. Okay. So I'm going to do the same order. Yellow, magenta, blue, and yellow again. Magenta and blue. I put this in a paper cup so I could pinch it and basically turn it into a little measuring cup spout. Alrighty, let's see what happens. All right, well, once again, we're having issues with the edges here. I'm not sure why that's happening. This was a much thicker consistency than with the GAC800. But again, the sides are running together. The colors have run together. There is not the same color separation as there was with the DecoArt pouring medium. I'm gonna have to say that the DecoArt may be my favorite pouring medium for a ring pour. The coverage that that gave was incredible. And the ring's still maintained on the side. Okay, here it is. You can see the sides have just completely blended. Zero separation of color. The Floetrol cells are popping up as they do, but the colors are very muddy. So I guess unless you had a super thick pouring medium like the DecoArt, that's what you're going to get. So there it is. So I'll be trying out these golden acrylics with some silicone next and see what kind of cell action we get. So tune back in tomorrow for that video. And in the meantime, thank you very much for liking and sharing and subscribing and all that good stuff. I hope you guys have a beautiful day and go make some art.